Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. You at the spot, the place, the location where the conversation is what? Pointed, the guests are what? Sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today, we are with Lisa Quinto. And we are going to be talking about some heavy stuff.
Yep.
We're going to talk about recovery and redemption and what it is to be the parent of a child that has been addicted to drugs for 15 years, but the recovery and the redemption, but also a different insight. She's a horse whisperer. Oh, yes. She does amazing things with horses. And maybe she can get me over the fear, because a horse ran away with me one time, baby, and I ain't did nothing since but bet on him.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. She is from Stanwood, Washington?
Stanwood, Washington.
Where is Stanwood, Washington?
It's about an hour north of Seattle.
Oh, okay. You near Humboldt and all that, where the free thinkers are, the hippies. Are there still hippies up in Humboldt?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I hung out with the hippies out on Venice Beach, girl, and lost my car keys. I had to be towed 132 miles back because I lost my keys. Okay.
Oh, man.
I'm not going to color in the white spaces. I ain't going to tell y'all the details, but it was quite the party.
I bet. Yeah.
So you are a wonderful woman. Tell us how you show up in the world.
So I show up trying to really spread love, because I really feel like there is not enough of that. Not enough love, not enough connection with each other. We've lost that, and we've lost it before COVID. But after COVID, it's even been more difficult. I've said for years, we're starting to become a society that's having a failure to thrive, which is connection with each other, and without judgment, connection with curiosity. And when we can look at each other with curiosity, we drop the judgment and we realize we're all here doing the absolute best we can.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that 110%, because love, unconditional love, I've said it a gazillion times. I have issues with that. There's conditions on my love. You come at me a certain kind of way, or you disrespect me, you hit me, you hurt my family, all that, my conditions. I won't hurt you, I won't bother you, but you not at the agape love with me. So, but I still love individuals, but I love them from a distance. There's a lot of loss in the world. There's a lot of vacancies, and some of them are self-induced. You cannot give what you don't have.
Absolutely.
People don't understand what that 4-letter word means. That is in every religious text, any energy field. The first thing they want you to do is connect to love. It is a power source. It's like backing your butt into a light socket. You get a charge.
Yeah.
And also judgments. Judgments create boundaries. All judgments don't have to be negative judgments, but edit and filtering and figuring out what is important, because you just can't just let everybody just be all up in your space, front row seat.
Yeah.
And
I totally agree with that.
And the only way that you can do that is have a good sense of character. So what brought you to this space and give you this longing and this yearning to embrace people with love?
And I want to also premise that I start with really loving myself. I can't love anyone else until I love myself and have really good boundaries with myself. That is something that I learned in my journey with my daughter being struggling with addiction, is having good boundaries for myself was the key for me, and that's what I am supporting others with now. So those boundaries are the most powerful boundary you can have is with yourself. When you notice you want to cross your boundary, that's when you get to see your trigger. What's your trigger to step over that boundary you've made with yourself? So for like an example, I told my daughter after there a lot of enabling and people pleasing that I would not be giving her any more money or buying her anything, but I would meet her anywhere for a meal. We could talk whenever we wanted, but that was my boundary. My boundary was, I'm not enabling you any longer. That's not something I'm going to be doing. And if I'm looking at crossing that boundary, I need to look at what's triggering me to want to cross that boundary. And then that's mine. And how
But you
can
know what
I
that
work on
is?
that?
That's love.
Yes, absolutely.
Love can be just
100%.
as warming and as inviting. It can be toxic too, brains. Okay.
Yep.
I'm clear with my love. I done worked on it for 61 years.
Yeah.
And it can be toxic because you want to please, you want to help. It's convoluted. You stay in bad
Mhm.
relationships, you get beat, you give money, you get addicted because of this thing that you love. So you have to
Yeah.
understand and define what that means for you. It's not the same for everybody.
Oh,
Some people just
100%.
want, yeah, some people just want a warm fuzzy. Some people want to kiss. Some people want to go ride on the back of the horse. But then there's
Mhm.
other people that want you to sell your soul to the devil
Yeah.
for the sake of this thing called love. Okay,
Mhm.
so your daughter, you said was on heroin, right?
Mhm.
And that's some pretty intense stuff
Yeah.
for 15 years.
She was addicted to different types of drugs, but heroin at the end. Started off with, Oxy and things like that. And this all started off from her being very sick for a long time and, being on pain medications, and it just kept
Okay.
going.
All
And
right.
yeah, turned into a very long road with a lot of really tough things of jail time, prison time, overdosing,
Wow.
a lot of, and I had to look at, how am I playing a role in this? What role am I playing in this? And how can I love myself to create the conditions for her to step into? So as I love myself and I create those conditions for myself with my boundaries, with how I'm showing up for myself, I'm showing her what's possible.
Right. But she's got
Yeah,
to want it and she's in pain and she's sick
absolutely.
at this point. I had a family member that had a back injury. And it started out, again, mild. Then they got the pain pump. Then they took the pain pump out. Then they got the pills. Then the pills weren't working.
Yeah.
Then they started, you know, getting street drugs because it was cheap and it was easy to get. And then they was loaded all the time. And
Yeah.
they don't know what it feels like to not have that pain.
Right.
And then there's a shame associated with it.
A
And now
lot.
you're asking people, for money, and they looking at you with a side eye. Then you taking a little bit here, you doing a little bit there, and overdose on fentanyl
Yep.
because you don't know what you're getting. You don't know
Right.
what you're getting. They have these test kits now here out that you can test your dope before you get to
I
make
heard
sure
something about that. Yeah.
you don't have fentanyl in it. Um, and it's tough. It's tough
It,
to look at your daughter because she's sick and she's trembling or she's drooling or
yeah.
she's begging, or they
Yep.
sell, they sell their soul.
Yep.
They turn a trick for whatever situation it is, and then you go to jail, and then you got to
Yeah.
sit there in the jail cell and you got to try to uh, detox,
Right.
and then you disrespect it. Then you got a record.
Yeah.
I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
But what was her breakthrough? What was her aha moment?
Breakthrough was being accepted into drug court in Seattle, where she was living at the time. And that was a program, and is still a program, that is a year-long program. They give you a place to live, they give you counseling, they give you treatment. But if you use at any point during that time, you would have to serve out a sentence that you were convicted of. She was looking at 5 years in prison
Mm,
or doing drug court. And drug court is what worked for her. And it's about, I want to say at the time, because this was a few years ago, before COVID, so probably about 5 years ago now, it was about a 30% finish rate.
wow.
So 70% didn't make it through
Okay,
that
so
program.
she comes back home, and same cast of characters is still there. You know,
Yes,
hey,
this was,
hey, baby,
yeah,
come on, come over here and let me do this. And you want to do this and this, that, and other, and all of that conversation. How was she strong enough to grab hold of herself? Not you, not drug court, but how is she able to grab hold of herself and say, you know what? I don't want this life anymore.
yeah. And I want to say, I don't think any drug addict wants that life. They don't see a way out. But yes, it was her realizing that the version of herself that was a drug addict had to die. And the new version of her had to be born, and that version didn't have anything to do with the cast of characters that was in her previous life. And that is what has really worked for her, as well as really working on herself as well, like really realizing that each time she went through treatment, you have someone go through treatment, if they're in a 28-day program, they're working on themselves from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Mm,
So, she had all the tools, but she didn't have the ability to work through the emotional mental part that kept her there, her triggers, things like that. So yes, it takes getting out of that ecosystem. And it also took, I played a part in that, because she didn't come back to the same ecosystem she left in. I really worked on myself. So I could say, I'm seeing that behavior again. What's going on? Do we need to have a conversation? What's happening? And she knew that this was for her best good. Like, it wasn't me judging her. It was me being curious about, where are you at right now? And how can I support you to stay on the path you want to be on? And with any addiction, it is a lot of times moment to moment. I'm clean and sober this right now, this
right,
moment.
right. That's with anybody.
Yes.
You have to be in the moment. Okay,
Yeah.
but what about the pain? Is there is
Yeah.
there, is there physical pain gone?
The physical pain started to really dissipate. It's very interesting when she started working through the issues, that part of what got her there, which was some of the things that she experienced in her life that really had a big impact for her from her childhood, of where she felt like she didn't belong. She had had many ear surgeries, and so she couldn't like ride a bike, she couldn't run, she couldn't do a lot of those things, so she felt like she didn't belong. So there was a lot of things like that that she needed to really work through. And when she was able to work through that, it's interesting how the pain started to leave.
Yeah, a lot of my guests have told me that is that you got to get to the root cause. And if you get to the root cause, the pain will go away. Well, I don't know what my problem is because this hip is kicking my butt. I'm not on
Oh,
pain meds. I'm trying to stretch through it and work it out. But what is the core? What is the core problem? So
yeah.
now you took a deep breath and you said, you know what? I am going to offboard some of this. What am I going to do for me? Not always be there for my daughter because it's her journey.
Yep.
You're the Uber driver, you know,
Right.
but it's her journey. But what am I going to do to replenish myself? Because I'm depleted, I'm sad. I don't feel that I'm enough because I'm not able to get her out of the situation. I don't want to see her suffer. I don't want to be mean. That conversation was crazy. So you started dealing with horses. How
Yeah.
did you get involved with horses and how do they make you feel?
Yeah. So in 2012, I had a good friend of mine who was I was a massage therapist for a long time, and she was a client, and she asked me to come out riding, and I'd been involved with horses many years before, and I found my happy place. And I realized this was something really, really helped me. So I bought my first horse in 2012. Her name was Luna. She just passed away this past March.
Oh,
Um, at 26. She was a
wow.
ripe old age. So yeah, she did great. Um, but she showed me how I was showing up for myself. Horses are a mirror of how we show up. And so she required me to be there, to take care of her, to take care of myself. We learned to take care of each other. And that allowed me to show up more powerfully. It allowed me to have a relationship with her that allowed me to be courageous, to be vulnerable, to ask for what I needed, and to give her what I had. We had an incredible partnership that I probably will never have again. I have another horse now, but I will never have again. She was just very special.
Yeah, it'll be different. And you were at a different place at that time.
Yes. Yes.
And she was there to literally carry you through.
We saved each other. I like to say we saved each other. She was a 15-year-old broodmare, which means that she was a horse that was bred for, creating babies, and was neglected and didn't know really what she should have known at 15. And I was battered and broken from years of dealing with the situation with my daughter. And so I would show up vulnerable, and I would show up how I was feeling. And she mirrored that for me. And then she showed me what else was possible. You can be brave. You can step through this. You need to show up for yourself. You need to love yourself. Just an amazing, amazing partnership. Yeah.
You have this amazing partner that you put a saddle on and that you ride. And she rides you through adversity, her strength, her courage. You mirror that. I know there's a lot of parents out there that have children that maybe they're not addicted to drugs, but they may have mental challenges. They may have health challenges. And this is on the cutting edge of recovery, redemption, is horse therapy, animal
Yep.
therapy.
Yep.
Horses, they take them out with the goats, they take them out with the chickens, because animals speak a different language, but it is so intuitive that you can't miss it. My dog would cock his head to the side. I knew exactly what he was talking about. It's like,
yeah.
Those things. So I totally get it. What are you doing with parents or even other people that are in recovery and using this horse sense that you've gained to make them better?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a retreat here a couple of months ago in August, and two of the guests were a daughter being recovering from addiction, and mother being in the same situation that I was in. And mom had worked with horses in the past and had a horse when she was younger, but daughter hadn't. When we first started, my horse, his name is Hershey, didn't really want to have too much to do with her. He actually kind of asked her to leave, pinned his ears at her and wanted her to leave because she was feeling very anxious. She was just in a spot where she wasn't feeling grounded. As we worked through that and she came back a little bit later, he invited her in. I see you're here differently. Come and be with me. By the time we ended 2 days later, he was seeking her out. And she was seeking him out and was showing her, this is how you show up for yourself. And to watch that transformation happen in less than a day was amazing. absolutely amazing. So I help people by working with horses. We're not riding. This is all groundwork. We're on the ground, but the horse is showing literally how you're feeling. So if you're mad, they're pinning their ears. They're showing you anger. When you're happy, their ears are up. They're wanting to engage. They want to get close. If you're anxious, they show you that anxiousness by walking around, not really being able to stand still. And then as you see, oh, okay, and then they start to invite you into what else is possible, and you start to take deeper breaths. This is called the heart coherence. So horses' hearts beat about 4 times slower than ours. Because of that, as we get closer to them, our heart wants to match theirs. So our heart rate starts to lower. We start to take bigger breaths because their lungs are so large. They're taking big, slow breaths. We start to mirror that just automatically. It just happens. You're not consciously doing that. It's just happening. And as you're doing that, you're becoming more and more relaxed. And as you become more relaxed systemically in your body, in your nervous system, everything just starts to slow down. And as it starts to slow down, you're able to be really present. And as you're able to be present, you're able to see this is where the magic is.
Well, there
In
was
the
no
present.
magic on mine, and the horse smelt my fear and looked at me like, really? I got on the back and we're going, and all of a sudden it went from a gallop, to a trot, to a run.
Uh-oh.
I'm like this. Oh my God, what is going on? I was scared to death. That horse was so powerful and so fast. And I held on for dear life. And I said every sweet thing I could, baby, please stop. I'm scared here. And all of a sudden she just stopped. I politely got off, gave her a couple sugar cubes, a carrot, and we walked back 3 miles. I haven't been on a horse since. But I've been around horses, and the way that they look at you, there's a conversation there that's going on. There's a strength there. There is a cohesiveness. So many people tell me that, horses have changed their lives. Animals have changed their lives. So that it's wonderful that you are doing this. Now, are you setting up regular retreats for family members or for people in recovery?
Yes, I will be setting up
Like
more and more
word.
retreats.
I hate to use that word addict. It just seems like, you're at the top of the house and you can't get down. Or when someone says, "Hi, my name is Susie and I'm an addict." To me, it seems like you're still identifying with that destructive space instead of saying, "Hi, I'm Susie," or "I'm this," or "I'm that." I don't know the mechanics of recovery or what the 12-step program or what they do in these programs, but I just really hate to hear people say that because it seems like they still have them stuck in that mindset. But what I have to understand is that maybe that's a mindset that they have to be reminded of so that they don't go back to. I don't know. But
I think it's both.
I really love to hear people say, "Hi, I'm Susie and I'm in recovery."
Yes. Yes, I love that. I love that because you are stating where you're going and not where you've been.
Exactly.
Right. And uh my understanding with the 12-step program is you're always an addict, because then you're always looking at your life as I'm winning each day, each moment that I'm clean, I'm sober, I'm winning because I was an addict. But I love recovery. I really love that word better. I'm in recovery because you are stating to everyone, God, the universe, yourself, that this is what you want. I want to be in recovery. And if you want your recovery to even be more, what's the right word? Beneficial, or to really sink in, help someone else.
Exactly.
Because that is, you've been on that road. You understand what it's like. This is why I say I am a recovery coach for family members of addicts, people who are in recovery, because they're underserved. they're kind of the forgotten part of this part of society that is really struggling right now. And a big part of that is connection. We lose connection. Anybody who is in active addiction is lost connection. They've lost connection with everything that's important to them. And as they gain those connections back through recovery, that's one of the things that really helps them the most. So yeah. So I will be scheduling more retreats for next year. And I also really love working on with people one-on-one, where we come out and work with the horses one-on-one, as in usually like a 6-week to a 6-month program, depending on what they need.
Okay. They don't live there on the premises though, do they?
No.
Yeah.
No.
'Cause that's
And
a
I
lot-
can
that's
work
a
with
lot to
horses.
take on, you know.
Right. And I can work with horses anywhere. Like I it doesn't have to be here. I can, if there's someone that's doesn't live here, I can find a facility that allows that. One of the things I really love about retreats is they get to come here to our farm and have kind of a little mini getaway. We live in the forest. It's beautiful. It's very quiet. And it allows for us to also like take nature walks, do some forest bathing, really get quiet. Because there's a lot of noise when you're dealing with this type of situation mentally and emotionally. There's a lot of noise, and it can be consuming.
Are you in a relationship? Are you married? Do you have a
Yep,
partner?
I am married.
How long have you been married?
Been married since 2016.
Okay, so you got
This is
married right as your daughter was going through this?
yeah. Right as she was, this was kind of in the beginning of her recovery. She had just gotten out of prison and was clean for a while and was not clean after that, got in trouble again, but then went into the program drug court in Seattle and finished that in early 2018.
So I just asked that because it takes a toll on the relationship.
Sure does.
Because your mind is, you know, always on your daughter, her safety, this, that, and the other, and then you're given sprinklings and spacklings and portions of who you are to this person that's trying to hang in there with you, ride or die. The person that's literally holding the reins, that's holding it all together. So I commend your partner for hanging in there with you and your daughter, because it's a big sacrifice.
Yeah, and you can really lose yourself.
Well, that's where I'm selfish with that love. I told you, when it comes to my love, girl, I'm greedy. I have 2 plates full, so I understand, you know, what a toll that could take, and I'm glad that you again found redemption for yourself. So there are programs for people that are what is it called? Not anal. It's like
Al-Anon.
Is it Al-Anon? It's for family members.
Yes.
So there's a lot of counseling that goes on there too, and a lot of support.
Yes.
What's it like to be in one of those conversations? And
that is also a similar 12-step program. And it definitely will. I feel like what I got out of Al-Anon was the just the camaraderie of being with other people that are going through the same thing, and people that are ahead of you, that, you know, whatever has happened with their family members recovery, and this is what worked for me. This may be something that you want or need to at least implement or try. And just having support. Just having support of someone who's really not trying to fix it for you, just holding space for you, as well as giving, like, this is how I navigated that path. This is what that looks like. I remember being at an Al-Anon. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. The 12-step program, I don't know where I read it or saw it or somewhere, but it really seems that it's a faith-based doctrine of spirituality or religion, connecting to source, connecting to spirit. is that, you know, and sometimes I see that people, and I say this snarkily, they go from one addiction to the next.
Yes.
They may not be on heroin, cocaine, or meth, but they on cigarettes and coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that nervous energy.
Right.
Does it take a while for people to kind of thaw out because they're frozen in this space? And again, I think it's your vernacular. It's the neuro linguistic programming that you go through. It's how you talk to
Absolutely.
yourself, the words that you use. I am this, I am that, I am, that I am, that I conversation. So with the 12-step program, though, do you find or do people find that they connect more with source and spirit during that?
Yes, I definitely did. I can only talk about my experience because I have no idea what anybody else was going through. But yes, that definitely helped me to also realize that uh what was happening with her wasn't mine.
Mm.
And that was probably one of the biggest, that and letting go of the outcome of whatever happens with her was two of the things that I really, when I really started to embrace that, is when things really started to change for me.
That's
Because I
letting go, man. That's just that, that's your baby. That's,
Yep.
how do I let her steer the course? How do I let her get in the driver's seat? Because we want to control. But what we have to understand,
Right.
brains, is that we cannot relive our lives vicariously through our children. I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, we are the vessel. And once you've delivered that baby onto the world, you know,
Yeah.
you do the very best that you can. You
Yeah.
try to deviate, you send them to the best schools, you buy
Mhm.
them this, you do that, you do this, and then they meet a bunch of people and they go rogue, or something internally doesn't set right. They don't feel that they're good enough. They suffer with depression, they suffer with anxiety, body dysmorphia, the cotton picking internet. So many
Yeah.
people are getting tricked up by these young kids are
Yeah.
getting just really bamboozled by the internet. I don't. If I
Yeah.
had a young kid right now, I don't even know if I let them do it, or I would be like a helicopter mom. I'd be so on top of it.
Yeah. The unplugging part, I think, is so important for everyone, but especially
Absolutely.
for someone who's younger. Unplugging and getting outside, getting in nature, get your
Yep.
feet on the ground, get yourself grounded. And um I think the most important thing is, who are you hanging around with?
Oh yeah, you are.
You are this.
I tell my daughter all the time, you are what you eat.
Yep.
You are who you hang around.
Yeah.
But again, there's that judgment. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
They're fun, they're hip, everybody likes them, they're popular, and then one thing leads to another, and you
Mhm.
get caught up in a situation.
Yeah.
But my mother always instilled in me a lot of good things, but she was very honest. And she said, hey, you are a queen. You are valuable. You are worthy. You are strong. You have options. You have choices. I mean, she just ingrained that in me.
Yeah.
So again, it almost was perceived as a form of arrogance, but it wasn't. It was self-worth and
Absolutely.
gratification and self-esteem at a very early age. My mother
And
was, knocked up at 14 years old. First time
yeah.
out, she got pregnant.
Yeah.
Said that she didn't want that to happen to me. So she
Right.
turned me on to the game along, at an early age as to set boundaries, understand who you are, and all that. But then there's generational trauma
Yep.
that come from, it may not have come through you, but it could have been through grandma or
Yep.
grandma's grandma. And now it's trickled down to you. So you are doing amazing work in this space, and I commend you because
Thank you.
um, it was a sacrifice. For
Mhm.
15 years, you gave up a lot.
Mhm.
Again,
Yeah.
relationship, your time, your money, your energy, your spirit, your soul, your child.
Yeah.
Now you're looking like brand new money. And
Thank you. Thank you.
I can tell that you got a lot of good wisdom and some good horse sense. So
There you go. I love it.
let's have some fun questions of you. I always like to do that. I always
All right.
end it on a good note. If you were a car, what kind of car would you be, Lisa?
What kind of car would I be? I would be I think I'd be like a Dodge truck.
Boy, rough and rugged.
And ready to go.
That's right. And
Hook up anything to my tailgate.
that's
Let's
right. You
go.
can pull a load. You can pull a
That's
load.
right.
Absolutely. If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Oh my goodness. I think it'd be the coffee maker.
Ooh. Strong, sturdy, readily available.
Everybody wants me.
Everybody wants you. I want to be the refrigerator. I just want to chill.
There you go. Love it.
If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
I think I would be a hydrangea. I love how they bloom around and they change color as they go.
That is really good. What would you tell a mother that is struggling right now, that is looking at their child and saying, you know what? I just want to slap the skin off of you. What would you tell that person?
I would say, find what brings you joy. Find something that brings you joy. Create a self-care plan. Start taking care of yourself. Start looking at how you can create the conditions for yourself to create the ecosystem for that child to step into, because they're not, when they do get to the point to where they don't want to use anymore, which no one wants to be an addict. No one wants to be an addict. I want to put that out there right away. We just don't know how to get out of it. Really take care of yourself. Really take care of yourself, because it is the potential that this could be a very long road. And taking care of yourself, finding a tribe, finding people that support you and love you without judging you or making you feel shameful or guilty about the situation is crucial. Because it's not yours.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things, is you got to offload it and realize that it is not yours. And find solace in knowing that there's something bigger and greater than you.
Yes.
God, spirit, source. My friend calls it Gus. God, universe, source.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That, or a nice boyfriend, a girlfriend.
Yeah.
A nice pet. Pets are just the absolute best.
They are.
They're the best.
Yes, they are.
Unconditional love. So thank you so much, Lisa, for being here on The Edge with me and my brain. Tell my listeners how they can get in contact with you, hook up, do some one-on-one, do a retreat, or find a facility near you that you might be able to travel to. How can they find you?
So I have a website, lisaquintowellness.com. And there's some resources there. You can read all about me. You can also get in touch with me to schedule a time for us to chat and see if this could be a really great fit together. Yeah.
Well,
I'm also on social media, Lisa Quinto. But the website's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
All right. Well, I'm going to put this out there. Brains, know that you can be addicted, unfortunately, at 10 or 12. You could be addicted at 70 or 80. And addiction is just a pattern. It is a sickness. Like Lisa says, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to live in squalor. Nobody wants to steal. Nobody wants to be alienated from their family. Nobody wants to lose their teeth.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
Yeah.
They want to live a fully productive life like you and I.
Yeah.
Start with the conversation. I'm in recovery. I'm doing my best. I'm trying. I'm taking it one day at a time. I love me. Have those great conversations with yourself. And I think that will be a great starting point. Thank you so much for being here on the edge with me and my brains, Lisa. Brains, go take care of yourself. Go right
Yeah.
here. You see a little avatar? You see this? I'm putting it right in your face. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
I want you to love, like, share, and subscribe. Love, like, share, and subscribe. Share this with somebody that is struggling with their parent that is sitting there getting ready to write that check or looked in their purse and found out that all their money is gone. Or they're sitting there in tears, wondering where their child is, wondering if they're going to be okay. Or for the person that is on, a substance and feels that nobody loves them and there's no way out. There's hope.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
hope.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.